Why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner, a first question. You don't even say, hello, how are you?
Trump gets savage on a propagandist ABC reporter. Welcome back to the JP React Show, my beautiful freedom-loving friend. This is where we like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of tyrants and Satan, shine the light of awareness on woke absurdities, and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters. Hot off the presses, Trump was just a guest going into what they tried to set as a trap, but Trump now has a track record of emerging even stronger from traps. But the trap was set in Chicago at the National Association of Black Journalists conference. And this hostile reporter, she starts it off with this nasty question, and President Trump absolutely owns her. There's a couple clips from this we need to take a look at.
I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think
By the way, this is painful to listen to her question, but it'll be worth it.
it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they...
Look at him smiling at this point. This guy remains calm under pressure. He's smiling.
ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner, a first question. You don't
Listen to the crowd. I think there's way more support for Trump in this crowd than there is otherwise.
Don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And
look at the crowd of journalists. There's cheers for that. I love that.
I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late. Just so we understand, I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something was wrong.
Mr. President, I would love if you can answer the question on your rhetoric and why you believe
I have
that
answered the
black voters
question.
should trust you with another 4
I have
years.
been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act?
And for you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work.
Oh my Lord, I love that. He just, owns her. There's more, but he owns her. I mean, everything from that's a nasty question to you're unprofessional, you're 35 minutes late, you can't get your equipment working, to you inviting me here under false pretenses saying my opponent would be here. She's not here. I love this man even more. We'll get back to this in just a second, but first I want to state the obvious. Stress is a leading factor in our world today. Just look at what's happening in America. Little stressful. But here's a question. What if the answer to a better stress response is one key nutrient? magnesium. And specifically, I'm talking about Magnesium Breakthrough by Bioptimizers. What sets Magnesium Breakthrough apart is its ability to support healthy levels of stress hormones like cortisol, a better balanced stress response in your nervous system and hormonal systems, and healthy production of GABA, the relaxing neurotransmitter that gives you more peace of mind and a better flow state. Now, most magnesium supplements just contain one or two cheap synthetic versions of magnesium, but not Magnesium Breakthrough. It contains all 7 forms of magnesium that your body must have. That's why I only recommend Magnesium Breakthrough by Bioptimizers. It's the only organic full spectrum magnesium supplement that contains all 7 forms of magnesium for stress resilience and better sleep. I've been taking Magnesium Breakthrough as part of my nightly ritual for over 4 years because it works and I feel the difference it makes. And now you can do something about your stress by getting your Magnesium Breakthrough at bioptimizers.com/JPReacts and use code JPReacts10 for 10% off yours. Again, that's bioptimizers.com/JPReacts. Get it now. Back to this ridiculously.
In such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here.
Yeah, let me ask a follow-up. Like, how do you follow that up and not look like more of a moron, you ABC reporter?
Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a
literally
definition
the words
then. Would you give me a definition?
DEI.
So she's not defining it. He's right. DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. That's not a definition. That's what those letters stand for. But what's the definition of diversity, equity, inclusion? She can't answer that or won't answer that. She just looks more and more like a moron, but this gets hilarious.
Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question, a very direct question.
Define it for me, if you
I just defined it, sir. Do you believe that
She didn't define it. She said what those letters stand for. That's not a definition.
Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a Black woman?
Well, I can say, no, I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage.
That's true. In 2016, she was labeled, she ran under this, the first Indian American woman to be elected to the U.S. Senate. Indian American. They're trying to rewrite history on Kamala, but this man remembers history.
I didn't know she was Black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn Black, and now she wants to be known as Black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she Black?
She has always identified as a Black woman. She went to a historically Black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a Black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that she is...
I think somebody should look into that too when you continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some Republicans have said?
I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length. And we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that interview.
You told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion.
I love that. And he has to throw in the Trumpism at the end with the other nice lady, or another lady on stage who's seemingly nice. He has to throw in and I heard you got very good ratings on that interview. This is just so good. There's one more clip we have to take a look at together from this hostile ABC reporter trying to own Trump that it just makes her look like a pathetic, weak propagandist as he owns her while she's trying to own him.
I have another one where I have
a hostile
judge.
We have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different topics.
No, excuse me. You're the one that held me up at 35 minutes, just so you understand.
If we can move on now to the state of the race.
I love that. We need to move on. Excuse me. You're the one that held me up for 35 minutes. I love it. This man is brilliant. When you try to attack him, just like in this case, during the assassination attempt, he emerges stronger. And by the way, it's not lost on me and probably not lost on you. They're still coming for him. And I'm not just saying trying to set him up for traps and interviews. I think on the bigger life and death scale, they're still going to be coming for him. And that means President Trump could use our prayers more than ever. I think God is on our side, and we need to keep calling God in, not only to better our lives and the outlook of our country, but to protect this man, President Trump, who is crusading for America. Let me know what you think of Trump's performance in this hostile interview with the ABC. She's not a journalist, she's a propagandist that was aired on PBS. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. I loved it. I'll look forward to seeing you on our next video. But until then, stay American.